Welcome to the Friday edition of Richardson Plano Networkers. Today is Friday, May 14th. Our guest speaker today is Joe Apfelbaum, and I think I still didn't pronounce that right. And Joe's going to provide insight into how to create opportunities using LinkedIn in just 15 minutes a day. Microsoft paid $26.2 billion, yes, folks, that's billion, to buy LinkedIn, and they converted the professional social media platform to a content marketing platform that provides people who are willing to take advantage with great organic exposure without investing in advertising. During today's event, we will explore the fundamental actions you need to take to master your influence on LinkedIn and create opportunities. There are over 740 million users on LinkedIn. Many of them are CEOs, decision makers, and professionals that are eager to connect and network with you. Most people are hoarding connections and do not understand how to leverage the attention that you can get on LinkedIn. Joe is the CEO of Ajax Union, a B2B digital marketing agent based in my hometown, Brooklyn, New York. Joe is a business strategist, marketing expert, and certified Google trainer. Joe enjoys speaking and writing about marketing, business networking, and personal development in his seminars, webinars, and articles. He is the host of the popular podcast, The Breakthrough Maze, Inc. 5000 podcast, and CEO Mojo. Joe has been featured on popular podcasts including the Entrepreneur.com podcast and the B2B Revenue Podcast. He's the producer of Grow Time TV and has published over 500 Mojovational Street Talk videos on YouTube. Love that one. Joe is a contributing member of the National Speakers Association, a group of over 4,000 professional speakers in the U.S., and an active member of Executives Association, a premier-based network organization in New York City. Please join me in welcoming our guest speaker for today, and I've always wanted to say this, live from New York, Joe Apfelbaum.
Amazing job. Let's give him a round of applause. Randy, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Really appreciate that. Thank you. My name is Joe Apfelbaum, and I love teaching people how to use LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn strategist, and there are 756 million people on LinkedIn. 40% are logging in every day. So you have a attention of the most professional social media platform that exists. Most people ask, Joe, what's the difference between Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn? Well, Facebook, Instagram is more social, and LinkedIn is more professional. When somebody goes on to Facebook, they're thinking about their friends. They're thinking about their family. They're not thinking so much about networking. They're not thinking so much about building relationships or inspiration. It's about connecting with the people that you know and finding other people to socially connect with. LinkedIn, it's about business. It's about inspiration. It's about getting jobs. It's about giving jobs. It's about hiring. It's about doing the things that are more professional. So whenever I tell people LinkedIn, if you're looking to network, if you're looking for more referrals in your business, if you're looking to build relationships, LinkedIn is the best place to do that. And the reason why LinkedIn is the best place to do that is because LinkedIn has an expanded organic reach. When it comes to the organic reach on Facebook and Instagram, it's not very high. You need to use advertising to get your thing out there. If you have I have 4,444 friends on Facebook. But when I post something, maybe 5 people see it, maybe 10. On a good post, 100 or 200 people will see it. On LinkedIn, my average post gets about 1,000 people looking at it. Not a lot of people engaging because people don't really engage so much on LinkedIn. That's why if you do engage, you really stand out. Kind of like Randy, he engaged on my post. Same thing with David. He engaged on my post, my most recent post. So my recommendation is for you guys, if you really want to stand out, is to leave comments on posts, like the post that I just shared in the Zoom link below. So my recommendation is to have a strategy. Most people don't have a strategy. They're kind of just winging it. And what is a strategy anyway? Like that word gets thrown around a lot, right? It's the word strategy. Well, the word strategy is basically a plan. What is your plan? What would you like to achieve? So your plan starts with your goal. What is your goal? Number two is, who is your target market? Who are the people that you'd like to connect with and do business with? And when I ask that to people, I've trained over 10,000 business owners on behalf of Google. And when I ask that to a business owner, they usually say, I say, who do you want to meet? They say, everyone. They say, I want to meet everybody. I want to meet as many people as possible. So I said, okay, well, New York City is a great place to meet everyone. Just come to New York City, stand on the corner in Times Square and hope that you can meet people and hope that it's not a pandemic. Well, the key is LinkedIn has very specific types of people that you can meet. And because you're limited at how many connections you can have, and by the way, I'm curious to know who here knows the limit of how many connections or friends you can have on Facebook. Go ahead in the chat and tell me how many can you have on Facebook, and then we'll get into LinkedIn. So David raised his hand. 4. No, so I have 4,444, so it's more than 4,000 on Facebook.
5,000.
5,000, correct. Suleiman said 5,000, that's correct. And on LinkedIn, you can have more than 5,000 connections. On LinkedIn, the limit is actually 30,000. So if you can have 30,000 out of the 756 million people connected to you, don't just connect to everybody. So lesson number 1 is don't just hoard connections and connect to everybody. Have a strategy as to who you want to connect with. I like to connect with people that I know, people that I like, people that I trust. If I don't like somebody, I'm going to block them. Right? I don't want them to see my stuff if I don't like them. So you don't want to connect with people that you don't like. You also want to connect with people that you'd like to meet. So I'd like to meet David Roberts. I mean, the David Roberts, out of the tens of thousands or whatever that exist in the world, and out of the 14,000 that are on LinkedIn, I want to meet the David Roberts, the business consultant, David Roberts. Why? Because David Roberts is in the position to refer business to me. He works with other business owners, and he knows who needs LinkedIn support. And so he's a great center of influence for me. And so if you think about it, there are 2 types of people you want to connect with on LinkedIn. You want to connect with people that are potential clients, people that you know, and people that you'd like to get to know, but also you want to connect with people that are a center of influence for you, which means people that are in the position to refer business to you. I also like to connect with people on LinkedIn that are engaged in my comments, that are liking my stuff, because most people are lurkers. A lurker is someone who likes to watch. They like to watch. Maybe they lurk in the darkness, but they don't really like to engage. Maybe they're afraid. That's one of the downsides of LinkedIn. One of the downsides is that a lot of people have a lot of fear around looking stupid in front of a business audience. They don't want to look like an idiot. So they don't want to risk liking things or commenting on things because they don't want to look like a complete fool in front of CEOs and decision makers. They don't want to risk their job or risk getting a client because of something they said. Anytime you communicate or you don't communicate, there's a risk. So the risk of not communicating is greater than the risk of communicating, especially if you have a solid strategy and you know how you communicate and what you communicate about. So number 2 is have a target market. And number 3 is have a strategy around your communication. Know what messaging you're going to give. Know what your vibe is. Know what you're going to be sharing. Know what the problems that your customers and your center of influences are experiencing. And make sure that you add value in the conversation. So once you have a strategy, once you understand your goal, once you understand your target market and your centers of influence, and once you understand your messaging, now you can start optimizing your profile. Now you can start adding the right things to your profile to be more successful. Now you can start leveraging your current connections because now you know what your goals are. So Robert, I'm curious, David and Randy, I'm curious to hear from you guys. What are your current goals from a business standpoint that you'd like to achieve with LinkedIn? You guys could unmute yourself and share.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in real quick. My primary goal here is, and it probably isn't going to be consistent with everybody here because I do have, maybe you would call it hoarding, but I have 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. They are not strategically in terms of the existing connections. I am very intent on only connecting with people over time with my own intention. In other words, and my strategy, I'm not going to get into the details there, but people that I really want to work with and become their vision warrior, and or be able to refer them to other people in my network, because that's what I do. It's very difficult to wade through that in LinkedIn, as I think I indicated early on. So I would love to be able to, I don't know that this is the right term, but I would love to be able to mine LinkedIn for the type of connections that I create in my face-to-face networking that I'm in today, if that makes any sense. And that's what.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I'm going to share my screen just to show everybody your profile. Can everyone see David's profile now on my screen? Perfect. I got a Randy thumbs up.
Yeah, I could see it.
And guys, you can see this is David's photo. This is his background photo. This is his name. This indicates that we are first degree connections. That means we are connected on LinkedIn. This is his headline here. This is the city and state and country that he's part of. This is indicating that he has over 500 connections. And if you click on contact info, you can actually see his birthday, when you connected on, his email, and other information. You can see how many mutual connections we have and anything interesting that I can say congrats on. So I'm going to say congrats to him right now. I clicked on that, click, and I congratulated him on that. Also his about section, which you can include up to 2,600 words here. And his activity, his recent activity. I like to view people's activity. There's also how many followers he has. Now, every person that you're connected to typically will follow you back automatically just when you connect with them. So he has 9,390. Probably most of them are his connections. And then you can see his experience, what he's done in the past. You can see his education, volunteer. You could see his skills and endorsements, and you can see his recommendation. The last one he got was July 10th, 2020. And then you can see his accomplishments and his interests. So that's what you see in people's profiles. Most people don't have an optimized profile. David's profile is pretty optimized, but he does have tremendous amount of room for improvement on his profile. So the first step to leveraging your connections is indicating here in your profile how your connections can help you. And right now, it's more about you, not so much about them being able to support you or you being able to support them. It's more about founder, CEO, COO. And if you do founder, CEO, COO, you're going to get people to find you because that's what people look for. But those people are probably wanting to sell you stuff. So my recommendation is if you want people to buy from you, think about the things that people search when they want to buy from you. They're looking maybe for a business consultant, or they're looking for strategy, or they're looking for some type of coach, or that's what I would include in your headline, ways that you can help people. I always say the best things to include in your headline, and you have over 100 characters you can add here, but you didn't fill it up. You can fill it up with more stuff. If you take a look at my profile here on LinkedIn, the way you look at your profiles, you click on the Me button on top and you click on View Profile. Let me open it up here. My profile shows CEO of Ajax Union, B2B marketing. So if somebody searches B2B digital marketing or B2B marketing, I come up for that. LinkedIn expert, professional speaker. So if somebody searches LinkedIn expert or LinkedIn speaker or LinkedIn professional, if somebody searches Clubhouse moderator, they'll find me. And I say who I help and how I help them. And that's what I write. Also, in my about section, as you can see, I have lots of call to action. So if you want to watch a webinar, if you want to read more about me, I actually have a whole article with lots of more information about how you can get in touch with me, how you can buy my books. So all that's available in my about section. I even have my assistant's contact information. I have what I speak about. I have my next virtual networking event. And I tell people how they can follow me on Clubhouse. So as you can see, over 4,000 people have viewed my profile in the past 90 days. If I ask most people how many people viewed your profile, it's typically very few. Maybe it's a few dozen or a few hundred. But I have thousands of people that look at my profile. When I check to see who looked at my profile, I can notice that there are some people, even David, that looked at my profile 12 minutes ago, but I see some people that maybe are potential clients here. And because I pay for LinkedIn, I'm able to see the past 90 days of the people that looked at my profile that might be interested in purchasing something from my business or my multiple businesses that I have. So this is very beneficial to kind of go through this. So leveraging your existing connections. Number one is optimizing your profile. Number two is making sure that you see who looked at your profile and leveraging those people. Now, there are three major actions, David, that I would recommend every person here do on a daily basis. Besides adding the right connections, which is an important action, the three daily actions that I recommend everybody do is number one, get exposure. Number two, get credibility. And number three is have conversations. Those are the three results I want everyone to have. And the actions that will get you those results are, number one is post on LinkedIn. So if you're not posting on LinkedIn, you're not going to get exposure. Number two is if you want credibility, you need to be commenting and liking on posts on LinkedIn. That builds credibility with your connections and with the authors of those posts and with the lurkers that are watching. They see who's commenting. The people that are commenting are getting exposure and credibility. And if you want to have conversations with people that lead to conversions, that lead to sales, the most important thing that you can do is direct message people. I send hundreds of direct messages every single month, which leads into dozens of calls, which leads into sales, actual sales, cash in the bank. So if you want to create more sales, more conversions, you first have to have more conversations. And if you want to have more conversations, you need to have a direct messaging strategy. You need to know how to be direct messaging people in a way that will make them actually want to get on the phone with you instead of run away from you. Most people are selling, and I believe that selling is smelling, especially at a networking event. You don't want to be showing up and throwing up. Instead, you want to show up and follow up because the fortune is in the follow-up. So how do you follow up? You follow up with people through the DM by greeting, feeding, and meeting them. Instead of selling, you want to be serving. And in the DM, there are many ways to serve through invitations, introductions, through giving people information that's relevant to them, through asking thoughtful questions, showing people and adding value to them, showing people that you care. I think it was Zig Ziglar that said, if you can help enough people get what they want, you can get anything you want in life. So show people that you care about them and they'll care about you. So thanks for the thumbs up, Randy and John and everybody else that's probably giving me thumbs up in the background. You know, the key is for you to add value to your network. So if I take a look at, for example, Randy's profile, I'm going to pull up Randy's profile right over here. This is Randy's profile. And Randy had open to network on his photo. If you take a look at my profile, you notice that in my profile, let me go back here to my profile, I have hiring as my thing, right? Randy has open to network. Now, if you're open to network, this is something that you can put on your profile photo through the mobile app. You can easily create, click on it in the mobile app. Let me see if it also gives you the option here, frames. It also gives you the option here on desktop. If you click on frames, you can select original, hiring, or open to network. So this is something you can easily change and lay over your photo, and you press apply and it's all done. They're called frames. I'm hiring right now. I'm looking for people that want to be affiliates and sales reps for our evergreen business. And our evergreen business is a business where we train coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs on how to use LinkedIn. In just 15 minutes a day, we teach you how to go through the process of posting, engaging, and messaging, how to optimize your profile. And we have over 600 coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs that have taken our 9 training modules, that join our coaching sessions on a weekly basis, and so on. But the way that I get people to join this is by having real, authentic conversations. And I'm looking to hire people that can help me get more people in the door to have more authentic conversations with people, because I'm limited as to how many conversations I can have. If you look through my direct messages on LinkedIn, you'll notice that I have lots of conversations with lots of people. So for example, Christian wrote, wow, your post just blew me away. I'm impressed by your content, but there's one thing missing from your LinkedIn, me, haha. So he wanted to connect with me and build a relationship with me. He's like, you probably hit the connection limit, but let's be honest. There's one person in your network that doesn't engage with you. Disconnect with them and connect with me. So I sent him a little screenshot. I wrote, I actually only have 24,000 connections. I got plenty of room for you, baby. And I do have 1,200 people waiting to connect with me on LinkedIn. So I accepted him in the door, even though I have so many other people waiting, because many of the people that are waiting are people that want to sell me things and people that are not engaging with my content. But as you can see from my most recent post, he liked my post. And he left a thoughtful comment in my post. He left a very thoughtful comment. So because he left a thoughtful comment on my post, right over here, he left multiple comments on my post. He first wrote one here, then he wrote one here, then I replied to him and he wrote one here. That's the type of person I want in my network. You want people that are engaged, because when somebody likes and comments on your post goes out to more people. I posted this poll 3 hours ago, and so far 3,000 people saw this poll. That's a lot of people. If I had to advertise this poll on LinkedIn and I wanted 3,000 people to see it, it would for sure cost me somewhere in the range of $50 to $100 to get 3,000 people to see it. But over here, not only do I have 3,000 people see it, I actually have people voting for a variety of different things. And if people want to learn about LinkedIn, these 34 people are in the position to hire my agency or to join my course to learn how to use LinkedIn. So I might find somebody that's a second-degree connection, like Lisa. I might go to her profile and say, wow, she just said she's in Canada, and she said she's interested in learning how to use LinkedIn. So I can connect with her. I can add a note and say, hey, I noticed that you voted on my poll and you're looking to learn about LinkedIn. I'm actually running a webinar, or I'd like to get you on the phone to talk more about our course. And I press send, and now she's a potential client. Do you see how I did that? I posted a poll. In one of the options of the poll, I included something that would indicate that they're a potential client for me. And now I can see who they are. Only I can see who they are. Not everyone can see. Everyone can just see the number. But me as the author, I can actually see who these people are. And as you can see, even while we're speaking, the number is increasing. And I can expect to have several hundred votes on this and maybe 10,000 views on this. And that's a lot of exposure for no money. And how long did it take me to write this up? I don't know, 5 minutes? 5 minutes it took me to write this up, because you can't write more than 1,300 characters. 1,300 characters is something that you could read in 30 seconds. It would take you 30 seconds to read this post. But once you like and comment on it, I can build a relationship with you. Once you vote on it, I can reach out to you because I know who voted. And that's a powerful way to get more exposure. So if I take a look at Randy's, I see he's missing a background photo. I see, if I take a look at his recent posts, I click on all activity. Now I'm going to click on posts. I can see what he's posted. And the last time that Randy posted was 9 months ago. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, except that Randy's leaving money on the table. Why? Because Randy has 4,000 followers, and those followers are hungry for Randy's content. Now, because Randy didn't take our course yet, Randy doesn't know how to post on LinkedIn in a way that will engage his audience. Because when he posted the last time 9 months ago, no one really engaged. As you can see, be the first to react. So I'm going to react to this, and I'm going to give him a little light bulb here. And when I do that, he's going to get a notification here. And that means I'm going to stay top of mind with him by doing that. So it's really important for you to engage with people's content, because that will notify them that you engaged. And very few people are engaging on most people's content. If I take a look at David Roberts, I go to his profile, I scroll down to the activity section, I click on see all activity, and then I click on the posts sub here, right? So I can see all his posts. I'll notice that he posted a day ago and he had 2 likes. One of them was a heart like, one of them was a thumbs up like, but nobody commented on his post. So I can be the first to comment, and I can write, boom, thanks for having me speak to your group. And now I press post. Not only will he see this, but the people that liked it and people in his network in the future that see this post will notice me and potentially want to hire me for the various things I have in my headline here. Do you see that? LinkedIn expert, B2B digital marketing, CEO of Ajax Union. I'm also a Scorpio. I don't know if you guys know what a Scorpio is, but it's a passionate individual that has a lot of secrets. And one of the secrets is that I like to rap. So if you guys want to hear a rap, let me know that you want to hear a rap in the chat. And if we get at least 5 people that write, I want to hear a rap in the chat, I will do a rap for you guys. Let's see, drop the beat, David said. Okay, let's start with dropping the beat first, because the man says to drop the beat, but I need at least 5 people to request a rap in order for the rap to happen. So David is 1, but nobody else requested it in the chat. Okay, we got Suleiman, do a wrap. So we got 3 so far. This is how you get people to engage. You make an offer. Let's see, anyone else want me to do the wrap? If anyone wants me not to do the wrap, just say, please don't do the wrap. By the way, this is how you get engagement. Oh, look at that. Ricky said wrap, David Roberts said wrap. Okay, so here we go. So let me find a nice little beat for you guys here. I know that you guys like Bad Girls, so we're gonna do a Bad Girls rap. You guys hear it? So move a little bit. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yo, my name is Joe and I'm the LinkedIn pro. Everybody out there, they just want to grow, but they're not posting, they're just coasting. Don't be like them and get your LinkedIn toasting. To be an influencer and not just a lurker, you need to start to post and don't be like most. Most people say that LinkedIn doesn't work. You don't work because you dabble and lurk. 756 million people. You know what you got to do. So post, like, engage, and comment. Be like Randy and David and Ricky. You know what to do to keep things sticky. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Thank you for the guitar, Ricky. I appreciate it. But that's the idea.
That was awesome.
Thank you for saying that. Now, Randy, David needed to drink some coffee after that. So I'm curious to know, my question for you is, what are you going to do with the information that I gave you? I gave you 30 plus minutes of information or whatever. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? Because information is not power. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And if there's something that I told you that you know already, that's fine. Instead of allowing your brain to automatically say, I know that already, ask yourself the following question. Am I doing it? Or what can I learn from this? Am I doing it? Or what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, oh, I know that already. I know that I need to post to get exposure. I know that I need to engage to get credibility. I know that I need a DM strategy and I need to DM people to have more conversations. I know that conversations lead to sales. I know that I can't close a deal without actually having a conversation. But the question is, are you doing it? And do you need extra support? Now, Randy says, I intend to use your suggestions and fix my LinkedIn and grow my contacts for people who may need my services. That's excellent. That is excellent. And so posting is a great way to get exposure. Adding the right connections is a great way to add connections. Now, you may need additional support. And if you guys need additional support, we do have a program, a course, and a coaching program that's super affordable where we can support you and hold your hand along the way. And you get lifetime access to our course and our coaching program. And if you want me to tell you more information about that, I'm happy to share about that. Or you guys can schedule a call with us and I can put the link to whoever wants to schedule a call with us in the comments below.
Let me do this because we've got plenty of time here, Joe. If you've got time, we've got time. The one thing is, you asked a question. Let me give you a thoughtful response to your question. One of the things that you triggered that is also something that's been on my list. But when you talk about connections, and just going through this, the curating of my connections is something that I'm going to do to run them through the type of filter you were discussing in terms of new connections where people are looking, but also looking for the engagement, looking for people that are meaningfully engaging and coming up with a process to do that. And part of what I'm doing is I actually posted on your poll. I'd be interested in your feedback on a new platform, kind of like Clubhouse, but has different attributes. And I'm also using Clubhouse. So I'm trying to connect the dots there. I don't want to get off on that because that's maybe not generally applicable, but I would like to hear, what kind of offer. I mean, we always make provision and for these. I mean, we're not paying you to be here. So we would love to, if there's any kind of offer or promotion, we want to take advantage of that as well. So if you could share that would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody that signs up today, you will get an additional 10% off the price that we offer on our website. We typically don't do this, but if anybody wants to sign up today to our course and our coaching program, we will honor additional 10% off. So all you got to do is sign up to have a conversation with us to make sure that this is the right program for you by going to evergreen.com/talk to us. I put the link inside the Zoom chat as well. And Evergreen is spelled EVYRGREEN.com/talk to us. And then just mention that you are in this meeting and we will give you an additional 10% off the fee. That's what I can do as an offer for you guys.
Okay, and one other kind of standard question is, this is being recorded. We have some contingent of the group that doesn't make it live and are DVRing this, if you will, and they'll come back to it between now and, let's say, first part of next week. Is there a time limit for that for the people?
So we typically do it for the day, but what we'll do is we'll extend it till the end of next week.
Perfect.
For anyone that schedules a call and is interested, we'll extend it till the end of next week. So
yeah, I'll when I post the video on the YouTube channel and in our private Facebook group or whatever, that are both targets for our group, the 1,600 plus folks that are in the group, I will post that link as well, so that, and then they can comment appropriately on that.
David, and this is the question I ask everybody is like, how much money do you want to make in your business? That's really the idea, right? So if it's about generating revenue, let's say, for example, Randy, tell everybody what you do for a living and how much revenue you want to generate from a website like LinkedIn or from lead generation. I'm curious to know, like, is that something that's applicable for you?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Vocally?
Yeah.
As David knows, I'm retired, and so my goal in life is to just help as many people explore ideas and opportunities for their business, using the experience of 40 plus years of fixing broken companies and turning around businesses and making them profitable.
So do you charge for your services at all?
I do not.
Okay, great.
I do not.
That's fantastic. So if you want to learn how to be able to help more people and make a difference, learning how to use LinkedIn for you, and then having a measurable impact. So for example, I always tell people, I don't want to go viral. I want to help 1,000 people go from frustration to motivation, 1,000 hungry entrepreneurs. So if you set a number, you might say, Joe, I'm retired, but I would love to help 100 people that have a business that are under $1 million to figure out how to get over $1 million. Maybe in a specific industry, maybe in healthcare or real estate or consulting or whatever it is. And once you pick a number, then we can help you be able to do that. And then now you have, okay, I'm helping in the past year, I helped 100 entrepreneurs move the needle and go from 250 to $1 million in revenue. And if you'd like me to join you and do that with you, I don't charge anything for it. I do accept gifts, by the way, gifts of love and appreciation and blessings. You might say that. But at the end of the day is I'm very similar in my way. I love helping people, making a difference. And I have a podcast and I interview people and they ask me questions and I support them and I give them free coaching. So I do a lot of that as well. And I'm not retired yet. I'm 41 years old, but I always tell everybody when I turned 40, I kind of retired because I got to a certain place in my life where I'm like, oh, wow, but I'm still, work, on some days, 12, 14 hours a day. But for me, it's not work. For me, it's what I absolutely adore and love doing. So they say if you do what you love, you never work in your life. I not only do what I love, I also love what I do. So I do both ways. I do what I love and I love what I do. And I love who I do it with as well. So very, very powerful to have a goal like that. What about you, David? David, do you have a specific goal in mind for how many clients you'd like to help?
So as far as specific, the answer is probably best. You used the quote, one of my favorite quotes from Zig Ziglar. Randy and I are pretty aligned in this respect. I've been retired from what I would call the corporate world for 16 years. And my unique reason is to change the world one dream at a time. So I am constantly looking for people who have clarity on their vision. There's not a specific number in terms of, but it's kind of goes back to if you can help enough people get what they want. Randy is a little more benevolent than me, and or maybe his having level is less. But I've learned after retiring with a 7-digit income that I want to be able to not only have the impact that I now have working with people one-to-one, but also that having level would be okay. Like you said, gifts. if you provide the value first and then the money comes, it's a beautiful thing. So the numbers are important. Obviously, they translate into impact, but my passion is really finding those individuals. So that's why when I said take what you have suggested here and make it useful, is I'm looking to get very connected and very specific with people. And that obviously the top of the funnel is important, but I'm really looking for those handful of people because I am retired. Like you said, I love what I do. I work more hours today than I did but before I retired. So, but retirement is not doing nothing. Retirement is doing what you want, when you want, who you want, where you want, not doing nothing. So that's what I do. That's why I serve this group.
I love that. I love that. And thank you for sharing that. So that's really beautiful. If anybody else wants to speak up and share what their specific either revenue goal is or what they'd like to achieve, so I can help break it down in a more quantifiable way of what you would need to do in order to achieve that. Go ahead, Ricky.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver the Americana singer-songwriter world when the golden age of songwriting has changed and passed, and now we have the streaming music world and the YouTube world, and even the YouTube music world has changed dramatically. In other words, it's very hard to make income as a songwriter. And so I'm trying to navigate all the changing music world and how there can be monetary gains in such a fast changing digital YouTube world.
Absolutely. And if you take a look at over here, I just searched songwriting on LinkedIn. Did you see that? It says it on top, songwriting here.
Mm-hmm.
And I did songwriting globally. There are 424 million results that come up for people under songwriting. So although you may believe that maybe there's not a lot of money in songwriting, a lot of people do it. There's 400,000 people on LinkedIn that do it. Ricky, what's your location?
Texas.
Okay, so if I just search in Texas alone, just to kind of get an idea of how many people in Texas have the word songwriting, 14,000 people. So what I would do is I would literally connect to the people that are in this world, songwriters, songwriting, the people that are in this world, connect with those types of people, and see what they're doing. Pick their brain, see what they're up to, and see how they're making money, or look at their profile and see what they're doing from a monetary perspective. There is a tremendous opportunity to make money writing commercials and writing songs for people that are out there and producers and so on and so forth. There are lots of people that need this, even though there's Spotify and all this other stuff. You have the ability to use your skills and your experience from the past to have conversations with people, build real relationships, and find people that you can truly connect with in your local area. You can start a networking group for songwriters and monetize it that way. You can do a course. You could find companies that need songs to be written for them or poems to be written for them and so on. There's a lot of opportunities. And depending on who you want to serve, that would indicate to you how you can monetize it. But as you can see, I'm looking through this. There are a lot of people that are doing this. And although you may believe that you don't make money off doing this, I'm sure many of these people have figured out a way to be able to earn an income off doing this. And maybe you haven't figured it out yet, but you need to do a little more research and find out how people are using that skill in order to earn income. And then once you figure it out, then you create your offer based on that or what you're interested in. And you base your offer on who you want to serve. So you might say, I want to serve advertising agencies and I want to do songwriting for advertising agencies. So agency CEO. So you search advertising agency CEOs and there's 150,000 of them on LinkedIn. So you start hitting them up and you say, hey, I'm a songwriter and I'd love to write a free song for your advertising agency. And if you like it, then maybe I can write some jingles for your clients. And that can turn into a whole offering that you have. Does that make sense?
I wonder if music for podcast would be
100%, 100%. But again, you got to test it out. 100%. People would love jingles. People go on Fiverr and hire people for a few $100s to write a jingle for their podcasts. You know, there's a website called Fiverr.com, Fiver.com. There's Upwork.com, Upwork.com. So if you hit me up, even as a CEO, and said, Joe, I'd love to write you a free jingle for yourself, I might say, go ahead, do it. And then I like it. And then I'm like, you know what, could you write me a song about this or write me a song about that? And then you say, well, I charge $100 for that. And I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm cool with that. Or you might say I charge X amount of dollars, whatever it may. It could be 50, it could be 100, it could be 20,000. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But you make an offer based on my need, it may turn into an opportunity. And if you're a songwriter and you're clever, you'll be able to make money off it by having conversation. Remember what I said before, Ricky? It's all about how many conversations you have. So you can have conversations with people that are doing what you would like to do. A lot of the things that I do right now in my business are things that I found through R&D. And R&D doesn't stand for research and development. It starts for rip off and duplicate. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, Ricky. You don't need to be like the person who comes up with the idea. So many people are trying to protect their ideas. If your idea is out there, I mean, if you're so unique, nobody's going to want to buy your products. You need to have something that's already out there that has competition. The more competition that exists, the more likely you are that you'll get clients. There's a reason why there's so many people doing coaching, because there's a lot of people doing coaching because coaching earns people money. You can be a songwriter coach. I could hire you as my songwriter coach and help me write a new rap song. I mean, that's a good rap song that I sang, but maybe I can make a better one. Maybe you can support me somehow, right? So I hired a rap coach, believe it or not, to help me write some songs in the past for specific events. So there are lots of things that you can do besides creating jingles and helping other aspiring writers and creating networking events. There's a lot of opportunities. The key is to have more conversations. That's going to be the key for you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And here's the kicker. If it makes dollars, it makes sense. So figure out what makes dollars. Cool. Anybody else want to share something that they're thinking about? Go ahead, David.
John Moore had raised his hand. John, did you have?
Also, David Ramirez also raised his hand. So we'll go David and then John.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I would like, and it's a multi-year plan, but I would like 1,000 agents, health insurance agents.
Amazing, amazing. That is the most simple thing that you can find on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to find those people right now in real time. And this is really, really like, simple. So you type in health insurance agent. Okay, look at that. Health insurance agent. I literally just searched that. Is there a specific location you want to target them, David?
Let's just go Texas because that's where I'm from, but it can be anywhere in the country.
Yeah, so now there's too many people that are licensed health insurance agents in Texas. There's 41,000. It's too many. So there are other filters that I always recommend people use. Like, for example, if you click on connections, you can check second degree connections. These are people that are connected to the people that you're connected to. There's only 877. So if you want to connect to 1,000, you might select second and third. You can break it down. There's other filters that you can use over here. There's lots of other filters. People that speak a specific language. So for example, if you're looking for people that speak Spanish, that are in Texas, probably a lot of people in Texas that speak Spanish that sell life insurance or health insurance. You have 357. So you're like, hola, yo hablo español también, and you can get into it, right? But that's the idea is for you to use the filters and the segments to find people. And out of these 41,000, if you send out 2,000 requests or 3,000 requests over the course of the next 90 days, you're going to have 1,000 of them agree to accept your connection request. Especially if you, like, for example, you look at Matthew and you hit connect and you include a note to Matthew and say, hey, Matthew, I noticed that you're also in North Richmond Hills, Texas. I'm from Texas and I love connecting with you as an insurance agent. I'm curious to know, do you do health insurance? If yes, let's connect on LinkedIn. And then you press connect and the chances of him accepting are extremely, extremely high, especially if you went to his activity and you notice that he's engaging. He happens not to be engaging, but you see that he's posting, engaging and commenting and doing stuff. So you know he's active, but it doesn't look like he's active at all. He's more of a lurker. So Matthew happens to be a lurker. That doesn't mean he won't accept your connection request. That just means that he probably needs our course to learn how to go become an influencer. But that's the idea, David. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
All right, John Moore, I see you raise your hand. So feel free to unmute yourself now and share with us what your question is, comments, concerns. And you're still on mute right now. I do read lips, just FYI, but your lips are a little harder to read than most. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Again, I'm LegalShield and ID Shield. LegalShield is a hybrid of a network marketing company and also direct sales. My clientele has been employee benefits, and within that marketplace is voluntary employee benefits, offering the service to companies and small business owners. But I'm, especially the older I get, the more motivated I am to recruit a team. And the folks that really, I think, would really have the most impact are insurance agents. And you just showed me how to access some of those folks.
Perfect.
Small business owners and human resource decision makers.
Amazing, amazing. So what I would do is, instead of writing that you're a LegalShield director, independent associate, all in caps here, which basically means you're yelling. That's what it means on the internet. When you put everything in caps, it means you're yelling, and you don't look like the type of person that yells, right? You're not a yeller. You're like a chilled, you're like, you're the type of person that likes going fishing once in a while, at least fishing for prospects. So what I would recommend you do is put things here in like upper first word, but not full uppercase, and write, I help. Who do you help? I'm a director and I help health insurance professionals or benefits professionals, blah, 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 with what you do. You don't have to write LegalShield, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people heard of LegalShield and they know it's MLM type, network marketing, and people run, typically in my experience, and this is probably not for everybody, but a lot of people run away the second you say you're MLM or whatever. They don't really, from what I experienced in the past, like people come up and they're like, oh, I'm Avon, or I'm this and that. And I'm like, all right, go away. Or I'm Cutco. Would you like to cut a penny with a knife or whatever? So I people would probably stay away. So try not to like push LegalShield in their face here. What I would do is more talk about how you help company with benefits. And it's one of the things that you do. And I would also put a more professional photo. This photo is kind of like cut off. So I would get a professional headshot. You have a beautiful smile. I can tell from Zoom that you have a gorgeous smile. So I would get a little bit of a better photo that's not kind of squeezed out. And then I would have a background photo. I would include how people can contact you in the about section. You're missing that. And then if I take a look at your activity over here to try to determine if you're doing anything, I noticed that you are sharing some stuff, but sharing more consistently things that are related to what you do for a living, not just, a video of ID Shield or whatever, but how you help people, or a story about a company that wasn't offering all this stuff and how they needed to be offering it to retain employees, or whatever it is, or asking a question or posting a poll. Those things are really useful, and they get a lot of engagement and exposure. So posting properly, optimizing your profile is really important, and then adding more people that are in that position in the way that I showed you guys earlier could be really helpful to you, John.
Awesome. Great. Thank you. This has been incredible. We've got about 5 minutes, so I'm going to, for those that are regular participants, I'll leave it open. Joe, I don't know what your schedule is, but let's give Joe a hand. I realize it's kind of noisy here, but that was incredibly valuable, Joe. I really, really, really appreciate you sharing all those tips. It was, I know I had about 8 or 9 things that I'm going to take away and try to get more focused to make what I have on LinkedIn more useful to me on my journey. So I appreciate that.